And this message is talking about what Natalie said earlier, simplicity and non-attachment. Simplicity and non-attachment, and how joy can come from that simplicity. A lot of the times in our life we are immersed in complexity. They say that life is simple, truth is simple, but humans are complicated. Like Lauryn Hill once said, it could all be so simple, but you'd rather make it hard. So let's get into it. How can less be more in your life? And what are some things that you can do in your life where less can be more? Hey there, thank you for joining. So let's get into it here. We got a message that came through, talking about Muji. You need nothing to be happy. You need something to be sad. Have you felt this in your life? These are just a different way of looking at things, just another perspective. It's not like anything has to be set in stone or concrete, but just another angle that you can look at something in your life. What does this strike up for you? What does this say to you when you see this quote? That you need nothing to be happy, right? But you need something to be sad. Do you feel that has been evident for you? That in the times where you could be blissful, in the times where you could be joyful, in the times where you could laugh, in the times where you could be happy, that you needed nothing to do so, that you needed nothing to be so. But the times where you felt sad, forlorn, downtrodden, melancholy, you needed something to feel that, Something had to be needed to do that. It's an interesting perspective, and I'm wondering, how does it strike you? Have you found this to be evident in your life in certain instances? We talk about how if life and you being alive is the most important thing in your life, if you wake up in the morning, it means you are still alive. Does it not at least deserve a wonderful smile from you, Sadhguru? Much love for this message. This is awesome. I had a mentor. I still have a mentor. He's a coach, and he's a positive mindset coach, PMA, the positive mental attitude. And he talks about how if you woke up, you're winning. If you're breathing, you're winning. As long as you do those two things, you are always on a winning streak. Why wake up stressing when every day is a blessing? Because it's said that there are 151,000 people, at least 151,000 people, individuals who did not wake up to see today, who didn't make it past yesterday, but you were one of the ones who did. And this was even before the pandemic. This has been going on every single day, that many people pass away and transition, to wherever they go next, from this form to the next. And so by us being able to be here, I feel like we can appreciate that. Or at least it can be looked at a little differently. Now here's a new spin on things. Speaking about those who want, the fewest things are nearest to the gods. When I read this, I was like, what? Because I remember being at the monastery. I was at a meditation center in California, and I was around these monks and nuns from Myanmar. They were from Burma. And they took me in, they taught me Burmese and taught me about mindfulness and detachment. And I remember there was a big poster with Sayadaw, the chief monk. And you just see his face on the poster in his robes, and he's just like looking to the side. And you see this one little message, and it says, free from desire. And I remember seeing that when we were in the meditation hall or the Dhamma hall, free from desire. And I kept looking at this poster, free from desire. Scratching my head, like, free from desire. Like, what? And I'm the type that I was raised coming up, reading things like Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, all these books telling me to have a burning desire, have that fuel, that fire, right? And I feel like there's a place for everything, but there's also another perspective that when you are free from desire, when you know that you lack nothing, the whole world belongs to you. When you realize that you are more than enough. There's a chapter here actually the last chapter in the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching, chapter 81, there's an excerpt here, and it says, "The master has no possessions. The more he does for others, the happier he is. The more he gives to others, the wealthier he is." And it's just interesting, that the times where I needed less, kind of like Audre Bear would always say, the more you breathe, the less you need, right? When you slow down that breath, you get back into the parasympathetic, you get back into balance with yourself, at one with yourself, in harmony, you realize how much you don't need and how little can sustain you. It's beautiful, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful place to be in that frequency that is not of lack and scarcity. The frequency that lets you know you are abundant, that you are prosperous, just like nature. You are not apart from nature, you are nature, and in nature there is no lack. So the fewest things, being nearer to the gods who need nothing, who lack nothing and are self-sufficient. We talk about, I have no money, no resources, no hopes. I am the happiest man alive. What a quote here. I remember being in my car some nights, and it was so interesting because it was like I was going through the journey and seeing myself and observing myself going through the process, right? From having, not having, letting everything go. And before I went to California, I had all sorts of things, right? I had money, but I was working a lot of odd jobs that I hated, I didn't like, doing it just so that we could stay at like a townhome or someplace and live comfortably. And it's funny that the things that I thought I wanted, comfort, security, those were actually the two things that I had to give up in order to actually have that comfort and security, right? Getting out of your comfort zone, doing something that you're not used to, doing something that you're afraid of, feeling the fear and doing it everyway, or doing it anyway, right? Susan B. Jeffers, that book is wonderful. It can allow you to feel something that you've never felt when you're willing to do something you've never done. You could not have told me that today and this day that I would not be playing video games, that I would not be, eating solids, that I would not be, doing all the things that I used to do. That was part of my identity. And it was so hard to let these things go. We talk about how Epictetus, this is a wonderful one. Whenever externals are more important to you than your own integrity, be prepared to serve them the remainder of your life. Like Scar said in The Lion King, be prepared. Be prepared, my friend, beware. Whenever something is more important to you than your own integrity. Video games, I could definitely say were more important to me than my own integrity. I used to worship these things. I used to go to work thinking about being back at home playing the game. I used to sneak and put the next tab up on YouTube, watching the developers talking about the game, looking at the gameplay in anticipation of the game, pre-ordering the game, waiting in the line for the Call of Duty, for the Grand Theft Auto, for whatever was next, right? And waiting to immerse myself in a virtual world that compromised my own integrity. And I'm just speaking for myself that I allowed these things externally to rule my internal world. So much so that I actually desired to be back in some place that was not serving me. And it could have very well ruled me the remainder of my life had certain events not taken place. Do you have anything like that in your life? Is there anything in your life that you can pinpoint and say to yourself, you know what? I've placed a lot of value on this thing. And ask yourself the question that anything you need or must have comes to own you. At a certain point, it's like luxuries, once tasted, become necessities. At first, they are luxuries, right? But then at a certain point, they cross over into the necessity category. You don't see yourself without that thing. You must have that thing to be complete. That's how I felt with a lot of things. With video games, with certain types of food, with certain things that I had to have to feel like myself. They say that freedom is not achieved by satisfying desire, but by eliminating it. You know, it's kind of like Bruce Lee. He talks about, it's not about the daily addition, but the daily subtraction. You know, hacking away from the non-essential, hacking away from the things that no longer serve you, chipping away from, you know, that uncarved block, and revealing that wonderful statue within, that wonderful work of art that you already are. By letting go of everything that you are not, you become who you always have been. And it's just right there waiting for you. So realizing that freedom and liberation, you know, might not be necessarily achieved by satisfying our desires, because desire, like the ego, is never satisfied, right? I found that out the hard way. When it came to food, video games, whatever I was invested in, the ego was never satisfied. It was always more, 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 you know? But when you go less, when you go light, you find out it's all right. It's all right. We gonna be all right. So here's another one. The weightlessness of letting go begins to feel better than having. I found out this firsthand whenever I started to let go. Going on a solid food vacation allowed me to know that and question myself of, was I ever really hungry? Were these sensations of hunger, these hunger pangs as I labeled them, were they actually hunger pangs? Or was that toxicity moving around in the body? Was that things tapping into my nervous system and making me think that I was hungry? Was that just me trying to bury down these emotions that I didn't want to acknowledge? Or is the feeling of letting go better than the feeling of having? And I started to realize that the lighter I would go, the better I felt. The more I was empty, the more like me I felt, you know. I feel like me when I'm empty, you know. I feel the chi, it's feeding me. The air I breathe is food for me. So it's very interesting how we can have these different realizations in life, no matter where we are on our journey. They say the happiest person is not the one with the most, but the one who needs the least. I'm sure you've noticed, you know, some people in different countries who don't have as much as you do. You know, places all over the world, you know, maybe Belize, Jamaica, like wherever you can think of, that they don't have as much as you might have, but they're smiling. They're joyful. They're happy. What gives them that smile? What gives them that joy? What gives them that happiness? And I know it's relative. This is not to say that everywhere is like this, but there are places like this where people don't have a lot to look after. I think of all the books that I've had, all the things, the possessions, the material, you know, things that I had, and I realize this is just more and more things to look after. You know, the more things I have, the more things I have to take care of. And it takes up a lot of psychic energy. When you have all the books on the shelf that you haven't read yet, when you have all the games in the bin that you haven't played yet, when you have all the movies on the wall you haven't watched yet, when you have all the things that you haven't done yet, it takes up a lot of psychic energy. And you could devote that psychic energy into areas that actually further you, that expand you, that expand your being, that give you life, instead of robbing you of that mental energy that we have every day. We only have so many decisions that we would need to make every day, and then at a certain point you're pooped, right? You're done. You're kaput. You're like, I don't want to do anything else. I just want to go to sleep. So you can see a lot of things in the house, a lot of things in the home, just scattered everywhere. It's like mental noise, you know? It's like visual noise. It's loud. Even if there's no sound, it's visually stimulating. It's noisy. So the one who needs the least. And lastly, quote by Lao Tzu, if you realize that all things change, there's nothing you will try to hold on to. You know, the monks and nuns from Myanmar, they taught me about impermanence and how it can actually be beautiful, that everything is impermanent, that things change. Because of impermanence, all things are permitted. So because of impermanence, I get to exist. I got to be born. I got to breathe. I get to be here and experience this because nothing is permanent, because everything changes. And when we realize that everything changes, we can't take anything with us. We can't hold anything with us. You might be in the sarcophagus or the coffin, but all your material possessions, they're going to go on to somebody else or go on to something else. We can't hold on to them. We must let them go. So if you choose to let go before you go, find out what comes in to your life. So thank you so much for listening to this message. Let me know what came up for you. And let's check out. Oh, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Wow. Awesome. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Haruka. George says, very cool. Thank you for the message. Awesome. Hey there. Much love. Thank you for joining. George says, amen. We need to activate that parasympathetic nervous system. Yeah. These days, many are more on the sympathetic side, 80-20. Yeah, that was one of the best books I ever read, George, the 80-20 rule. 80% sympathetic, but it should be 80% parasympathetic. Nice. Great point. Yeah, slow that breath down. It's like the turtle, the tortoise and the hare, right? Slow and steady. The hare was, it was excited. It knew it could go fast, But the tortoise, it wasn't concerned about going fast. It just kept going and just kept going and just kept going and just kept going and just kept going. So it doesn't matter how quickly or how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop, Slow that breath down. The longer your breath, the longer your life. Look at the lifespan of the tortoise versus the hare. Look at the lifespan of animals or creatures in nature that take slow breaths versus the one that are, just look at the lifespan. It's the evidence is right there. So slow down. Where are we in a rush to get to? Where are we in a rush to go? Nikki, hey. How's it going? Thank you for joining. Nikita says, a relationship. George, hack away from the non-essential. Yes, exactly, Bruce Lee. Robbing you. Much love, Natalie. George says, change. Know that nothing stays the same. Yeah. Even my perception has changed. Even my thoughts have changed. Ivana would always say, I know that I know nothing. I think that's Socrates as well. This one thing I know, and that is I know nothing. It's funny. Doctor Strange, I once read a Doctor Strange comic, the Sorcerer Supreme, and he was with his apprentice, and they were in a cave somewhere far away in like an ancestral tomb, and they were battling ghosts and ghouls and goblins and these ancestral spirits. And, right before they went beyond this door, this foreboding door that really looked intimidating, she was asking him, what he thought was on the other side of the door, and she was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" And Dr. Strange said, "I have lived far too long, seen far too much to ever be sure of anything." How's that for humility, right? I've seen too much, lived too long to be certain of anything. I know nothing. So the more you know, the more you realize how little you know. Haruka says, how you doing? Thank you for answering my question. Of course, Haruka. Thank you for joining. Shout out to Haruka-san, Japan in the house. Oh, what's going on, Carly? Hey, Michigan in the building. What's going on? Grand Haven. Okay, so Wild Child says the lightness of letting go of the attachment. Yes, keep it light. Keep it light, baby. And you see, you're not weighed down, you're not burdened when you keep it light. Somebody tells you something, and you tell somebody something, you're like, man, dang, that's heavy. Sheesh. Hey, man, that's heavy. Have you ever felt that? The feeling of heaviness versus the feeling of light. So let go to let in. Nikita said, thank you for the Jerome food. Hey, this is divine dining, baby. Have a seat. Open the menu. You know, this is a full course meal. I love that you're taking this breakfast with me, this rising, and whatever time it may be where you are, you know, I appreciate you. We just having air appetizers, music meals, you know, dance dinners. I love divine dining. Ivana says, thank you, brother. How are you? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Wow, you know, that's cool. You on the live and you asking me how I am. Carly says, beautiful soul. Aw, thank you, Carly. Awesome. So this has been a message for you, my friend, and thank you for receiving it. Thank you for keeping it light, keeping that levity, keeping a smile, keeping a laugh in your heart, keeping a song on your soul. You know, your heart is a drum, your breath is a song. And allow the rest of your life to be the best of your life, as well as the breath of your life. Cultivate that sense of joy and peace, and realize that there can be so much when we let go of what we think we need, because what we think we must have comes to own us in our lives. So how can less be more? What are the certain things that you can cut away, that you can shed like an onion, right? That might involve tears at first, you know. You might be, I don't want to let go. But when you finally let go of what you're holding on to, you might realize it's been holding you back from your greatness. So, much love to you. Thank you so much. Hey, Adam, thank you for joining. How are my dreams? My dreams were well. Thank you for asking. Michael says, in 15 minutes, I will have completed 7 days dry. Whoa. Hey, everybody, let's clap for Michael. Wonderful, wonderful. Shout out to Michael Johnson. He will complete his 7-day dry fast in the next 15 minutes. So he says this is the perfect breakfast. Awesome, Michael. Wonderful. Congratulations. Y'all give him, show him love. Show Michael some love. Congrats. Congrats to you. What an achievement, you know? It's interesting. The more we expand ourselves and the more we realize that we can do so many things that we thought we couldn't, it's a wonderful time to be aligned and a wonderful time to be alive in this age where we are going beyond our perceived limitations and realizing that, just like Bruce Lee said, there are no limits. You know, there are only plateaus, and we must not stay there. We must go beyond them, and only if you wish, you know. But the choice is yours. The choice is always up to you. So awesome, Michael. That's a wonderful, congratulations. Haruka says, I want to start breath work. Are there any videos you recommend? Yeah, you know, Casey Budd. Check out Casey Budd. She does breath work. Audra Bear, I know, was doing breath work. I don't know about her these days. I know Taylor Budd as well. He used to go by Dow Lore, and I think he's the breath work something now on YouTube. But yeah, also I can give you a few breathwork practices if you want to hop in the DMs. Also, there's a wonderful individual named Devon the Black Airbender. He's got a lot of breathwork that I'm sure he'd recommend. Alchemy breathwork is really cool. And Victoria, Level Mind. Check her out, LVLMND. Check out Victoria. Her Instagram handle is called Level Mind. And she does a lot of breath work as well, so she could definitely help you out with that, Haruka. Hey, awesome. Awesome, wonderful. Well, thank you. Yes, congrats to you, Michael. Wonderful achievement, wonderful. This is only the beginning, my friend. This is only the beginning. It's only the start of your journey. You're only scratching the surface of your potential. It's limitless, it's boundless. There is no end, my friend. So enjoy this life, enjoy this journey, enjoy this breath. And yes, we will continue. We will see you again very soon. Definitely hit the bell notification, that bell icon, ring that, you know, ring my bell if you want to be present whenever we're doing these live sessions. Definitely thank you everyone for the likes and shares, sharing this with a family member or a loved one, someone who you feel like could gain value from this and could hear this. Drop a comment or a nugget, anything that you took away from this that you could take with you. And definitely, hit the hashtag replay. If you caught this on the replay, I would love to get to know you. Jump in the DMs and let's rap about it. Tell me about your health journey or anything that you've been going through on your path and any questions that you might have. And always, always be sure to check out the Open Palm podcast. The link is in the bio right there for you. And that is on all platforms for your daily inspiration, my friends. So take care, much love, and enjoy the rest of your day. I can't wait to see you on the next live. We will catch you very, very soon. Take care.